Okay, so forgive the oddish angle. I'm trying and apparently failing to get most of the glare off my glasses, but whatever. So I wanted to show off what I've been doing lately with the laser cutter. I want to start by saying a lot of these designs were borrowed or actually derivatives of stuff that's on Thingiverse, which is thingiverse.com, and is this amazing website where people post both their 3D printing and laser cutting stuff. So anything that is a derivative, I will eventually be posting that design. If anything is just basically me printing the cool stuff that they've done, you know, I'll let you know that too. So what have I been doing with my time lately? Let's start with a couple things that I did that are just plain old borrowings of stuff that other people did or have been modified in some way. So this here, there is a clock. Very cool. The letters are actually cut out of the piece clock that I really like. I've been looking for a really badass base that I can use with some clock mechanisms that I have bought to use all of the leftover bits from all of my Captain America cutout stuff that I did for my countertops in my kitchen. I've got a lot of stars and hoops and circles and whatever. So I'm going to back this with the hoops and add the stars around the edges and paint this white first. And so then I'll have a very cool Captain America clock. But I really liked this particular pattern. I think it's much cooler than ordinary numbers or just buying a plain clock face or printing something on paper. So yay for that. Next, something else that I just printed, but I've been wanting forever is basically an old school spirograph kit. So once I figure out how to make new gears, I'm really excited about that. But nothing fancy to these. I mean, they're just designed to be gears and gears, so it works really well, actually. I left all the doodles that I did at the space, so I don't have a doodle to show you about how cool the spirograph kit is, but rest assured it's cool. Oh, and the middle piece of the spirograph kit is going to be used as part of the badass clock that I cut. Something that is a partial derivative is somebody has designed it was actually designed to be a sake box. But I have redesigned it to just be a cool box to store stuff in because I don't really want to seal it up so that it's food grade. So this is the box. You can see it's not glued yet, but it's all designed to fit together really nicely. And then I cut two little squares. This is the derivative part. I sort of developed a lid for it so that once these are glued together, that one fits right in and this one fits on the top, so it'll close really nicely. So I'm thinking that I want to paint it and then cut something into it so that, you know, the cut is through the paint, but I haven't decided what I want to sort of brand it with yet. So from that, actually, I re-derivative-dived even more, and these pieces are eventually going to be something that I've been working on a very long time, which is a set of bookshelves that are very easy to build for an American Girl doll. So I unfortunately have chosen to do this in a very poor way, but you can see these edges were the edges of that box, just reconnoitered, and so is the bottom, the way that that bottom is done. And so I've done it so that it's three-sided and that, you know, they fit together, joint together really nicely. And I have it backwards. That explains so much. These slots actually do line up when you put them together. And then what I've done is from that base, I've developed a shape that is a shelf so that it slides into these. This is really hard to do backwards. So that it slides into these slots like this and is a good solid space. And then of course I did both the bottom and the top, like the base of that box. So it's actually not quite perfect. You can kind of see the shelf I made was a little big so that these don't slot together really well in the back. So I've got to redo the shelves, and I actually need to redo one of the sides because somehow in my maneuvering I made one side just a little taller than the other. So I need to recut one side and the shelves, and then I'll have these like ready to go. So I'm pretty excited about that. I plan to sell them on Etsy because it's really inexpensive. It's really solid. This is actually also birch plywood, but I can get pine, and I have some red oak in the right sizes and shapes that this can be cut out of. So once you sand off these little bits of burny edge, which is very easy to do, and then finish it really nice, like it'll be a really nice looking piece of doll furniture for not a lot of money. I suspect I'll be able to do it for about 20 bucks, which for anybody who collects American Girl stuff, you know that that's pretty cheap. So the next thing I did is something I completely designed myself, which is, I don't know if you guys remember, and here, let me show them off. I have this huge collection of eyeglasses that are currently just hanging on a piece of string. Oh goodness, is this going to sit right? It is. Hanging on a piece of string on my window. So I designed an actual slotted together eyeglasses holder that I'm going to be able to hang up on my wall behind my jewelry box. So you can see I cut it with a, good job, Laura, with a sawtooth, and that it slots together really nice, that they'll hang like this, and that there'll be 2 rows. And then I dug on the interwebs for the best possible quote for this, and so it's "Don't call the world dirty because you forgot to clean your glasses." I thought that was charming and appropriate. So it slots together like this. It looks pretty nice, and on both sides. I just dropped the other one. So that I'm probably going to hang it up using some command hooks in a very fancy way, because I don't really, my closet is made of a material that I don't want to put nails in, so that should be an adventure. But worst case scenario, I should be able to put it on a shelf and prop it up. So I'm pretty pleased with that too. Then I started experimenting with something that's called a living hinge. And for those of you who don't know what a living hinge is, it is a way to cut a material so that a normally stiff material becomes very flexible and bendy. So you can see I've got this, this is also birch plywood, 3mm thick. This is a box that I didn't design. This is totally from Thingiverse, with the exception of me adding my little KMAP logo here. It's a nice little box. You cut these slits this way into the wood in these very, very tight, close pattern. And then the wood becomes very, very flexible. I mean, it comes all the way around and all the way back. It's very flexible. It lasts for a very long time. The guy who developed this particular one said that he had these survive for easily 1,000 bends. And then these 2 little holes in the back, which I haven't done yet, I'm going to take some elastic, and you thread them through here, and it comes out front so that it holds it closed. So it's going to be a very handy little file box for me to keep some, fun stuff in. But while I was experimenting with these, and I made a couple other things that are totally Thingiverse patterns that I didn't bring with me to show you guys. But while I was experimenting with this, I had 2 interesting conversations. One of which it was mentioned, well, I mentioned that it had occurred to me that anything that is flexible can be worn. I learned it from Project Runway. If you can bend it, you can make it into clothing. The other thing was that somebody mentioned they had always been wondering about doing living hinges and trying to manipulate them in a way that would bend them into shapes that weren't just a hinge. So you could make cones, for instance, or carve them into shapes so that you could make spheres, or position them right so you could make complicated like icosahedrons and stuff like that. So it occurred to me to go ahead and give that a try. So what I did was I just took a simple living hinge pattern. I cut it into this sort of nice little, and I didn't do a really good job of setting up the angles perfectly, but I set them up so that now when you bend this piece of wood, it does indeed become a cone. Pretty nice. But to go with the, hey, why don't you wear this idea, it occurred to me that once I had cut something like this, like cut a truncated cone, you've basically got a wrist guard, a wrist brace. So I think I'm going to try and make several pieces of basically birch or pine wood armor, or maybe cedar. If I could find thin enough pieces of cedar to pull off a very nice smelling work of armor, that would amuse the crap out of me. So I already have this piece. The plan is right at the top here, one in the middle and one at the elbow. On the inside here, I'm going to just attach leather straps. That's one of the reasons I need to space these better, is that I want to find good places to attach them where it's not bending. I think it'll hold a lot better then. I'm probably going to actually, when I make a proper one, I'm going to laser cut a little hole there and actually hold it in with like a nice solid brass tack, brad, whatever. I'm not sure what you call the kind of fasteners I'm thinking of, but hold it in tight so that when you put it upside down, hello Franklin, when you put it on your arm, you can tie it in 3 places along here, and it'll stay on nice and sturdy. So I'm pretty excited about that. Also, living hinges are kind of fun. Like there's a lot of interesting things you can do with flexy, bendy wood. So I'm just experimenting with the wood right now. We just had a discussion on the mailing list. You can do it with plastic. You can do it with acrylic, especially thin enough pieces of acrylic. As long as you don't want to bend it too much or too often, you can develop shapes and things like that. So I think it would be really interesting in the future, once I've got some of this doll furniture up, to make some really cool shaped furniture. I mean, can you just imagine, like, if I can take this and then cut, just like I cut these, this isn't the shelf, but shelves that have the little the slots in them. So if I cut a round shelf with the right slots in it, you know, like I could make a round cool bookcase or something like that. Ooh, you can see I left the sticker on. Awesome. I could make a round cool bookcase or a lighthouse model or something weird like that. Just really cool, badass doll furniture. So yeah, since doll furniture is one of the big things that I wanted to do when I first got my membership there, I'm finally on the right track. So that is most, if not all, of my cool stuff that I've done lately. I've carved a few other things. I don't know if I did more than pictures. I don't think I did, but I've been figuring out how to make these really nice, if you carve deep enough and often enough, you can make really nice little shapes that work as wax seals. This one is something I've owed someone a photograph of for a while. Sorry, Jadelyn. I've got this for you, and even just, you know, to carve like sort of heavy duty sigils that can be used as, you know, decorative in some way. I'm really enjoying doing some heraldry stuff with that. And I guess last but not least, actually kind of least because it's tiniest, I figured out I'm going to get the correct sizes soon, but I'm going to be carving some of these for a friend of mine who wants to join the 501st, the Stormtrooper Brigade that does the good armor and stuff, so that they can be used as rank markings. So that actually worked out really well too. I might actually try and go a little thinner with these so that they fit nicely in a brass piece, but I'm not sure. We'll see. I need to get the measurements from her anyway. So, so yeah, that really is it, I think. Anyway, many of you know that I had a really crappy day, so I thought I'd show off that I'm actually good at something and feel better about myself. So I'm going to finish my wine and knock everything that I just showed you onto the ground, and I hope you have a better day than I have. Bye.